Hello and welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Moncia. Of course, I am your mayor of the city of Phoenix. This guy next to me, Mr. Electric, Shawn and of course, Jesse Friedman is traveling right now from Seattle back to Phoenix.
He's not still stalking Courtland Carroll's high school?
I think he is, actually. I think he's talked to all of his teachers. I think he talked to all of his former coaches.
911, what is your emergency? There's a strange, tall, skinny man hanging out in our athletic facilities.
He keeps asking us
what
about
a sick high school, by the way.
Yeah, honestly, the football field they had there was dope.
Sometimes when you see athletes and where athletes came from, you're like, well, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
I wonder why St. John Bosco pumps out or Bishop Gorman pumps out when they got an NFL stadium for their high school players.
It's wild. But today, another off day for baseball. We got today and tomorrow off days. Boring. I hate off days, but baseball needs it right in the middle of the season.
I guess. I don't really want they need an event today.
Like there's a lot of stuff
not with the pros.
Sure.
But maybe a high school all-star game or
maybe
something
like the
All-American
minor leagues
game,
or something.
maybe.
Yeah. I need something to fill
that. The minor league all-star game should just be at the MLB stadium.
Yeah.
Or at the all-star game the day after.
Let's go. I love it. Anything.
I need baseball today.
I mean, I was watching Savannah Bananas yesterday. I needed baseball clips.
I saw a clip of the game winner, a game ending on a fan catching a ball.
Yes, because that is banana ball rule number 8 is that if a fan catches a foul ball, it counts as an out.
It is an out, and that was a game winner. So they brought the kid on the field and have him celebrate with the team and everything. That became a new dream of mine.
Fucking electric.
Is to have a game-winning out for the Savannah Bananas. That's the closest I'll ever be to being a professional baseball player. And like I said, become a dream of mine now.
My new hottest take is that the bananas are a better live experience than the Harlem Globetrotters. And I will die on that hill. Because it's an actual competitive event. It's like we said about the All-Star game, right? The All-Star game still has to be competitive.
The Harlem Globetrotters, I love them for what they mean historically and all that. I went to one of them freshman year of high school, and I was like, "Oh, I'm too old for this."
You are too old for that. Correct. Yeah. You know, there's not water in that pail.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
confetti, right?
Yeah. I know the Washington Generals are going to lose. There is no mystery for me.
Spoiler alert. But still, we have some stuff to talk about. Of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks continue to draft players in the MLB Draft on days 2 and 3. They drafted 8 players on day 2 and 10 players on day 3. And of course, when you look at overall, there seemed to be a certain theme to the guys they were drafting. It seemed to be collegiate players, and it seemed to be power arms for the Diamondbacks. And guys that have a lot of upside, but not exactly sure where they fall. We were talking about it. There's a lot of guys that throw 100 miles an hour, but don't know if they can actually hit the strike zone with 100 miles an hour. But the Diamondbacks probably feel strongly about their ability to coach. I think that that's a good way to approach it, considering, in my opinion, that guys seem to be able to come out of their minor league system ready to play at a major league level.
Yeah.
And that they have such a good coaching staff in place at a major league level. I don't know if those coaches will still be there when young guys like Jack Hurley make it to the major leagues, right? But still, it's like the idea that this team, as you said yesterday, needs to build their team this way. They need to build their team through kind of going for in some cases, even in the first round, kind of going for a little bit of a long shot because you believe in that player.
Yeah, 100%. They definitely are. They're definitely the kind of guys where, if they work out, they're going to look like geniuses. But they just were drafting, like I said, high ceiling guys that they had clearly had like a couple of tools that if they can figure out one or two things, they're going to be very high quality baseball players. Like you got guys that went 101. If you can figure out the control a little bit, like that becomes a super valuable bullpen asset at some point or something like that. So like it definitely, like Connor said, you can't teach 100. You can teach control. So like I do really like that philosophy as well. Like having faith in your system and being like, these guys, I think that our system, our coaches that we have can help these guys figure out whatever they haven't been able to figure out so far.
Yeah.
Because once they do, they're going to be guys that should have been drafted higher.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, speaking of guys that should be drafted higher, the Diamondbacks kind of reached on the first day, but on the second day, they kind of got some of those value picks that were still left around. Maybe guys that were valued higher that didn't go in the first round or the second round. On day 2, with the 80th pick, they took the aforementioned Jack Hurley. He's an outfielder from Virginia Tech. He was ranked as the 2023 draft's number 36 prospect by MLB Pipeline, number 38 by Baseball America, and the Diamondbacks get him at 80. So there's kind of a value pick for you, if you will, when you talk about the Diamondbacks and some of the guys they've reached for. And that includes Grayson Hitt, which they got in round 4, another guy who was listed as the number 88th prospect by MLB Pipeline, and the Diamondbacks got him at the 112th pick. But going back to Jack Hurley, outfielder, as a junior, he hit 320 with a 1.128 OPS for Virginia Tech, and in 3 seasons, he hit 321. So he's good average guy, outfielder, and of course, he bats left-handed. So of course, you got to get a left-handed outfielder.
Yeah, right.
You're not the Arizona Diamondbacks if you're not drafting a left-handed outfielder.
Yeah, no, and obviously, like with both of the guys that you mentioned, like there's some concern that comes with like, well, why did they fall that far?
Sure.
But on the other, but like it's hard enough to get guys drafted in the 3rd, 4th round to the majors, anyways. So you might as well take that risk. Like you get, like I said earlier, you're gonna end up looking like a genius. As far as
there's a reason that they're ranked that high by the Pipeline and by Draft Prospectus and all these other outlets. But at the same time, you're right. There probably is most likely some reason that they fell off the radar for some of these other teams.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, you look at the production that he had in college. Like there are certain things that you can not guarantee, but you can, I guess, kind of bet on transferring over pretty well to the majors, whether or to just professional baseball, whether that's just like discipline, drawing walks, stuff like that. And like it's a guy that clearly did that pretty well. I mean, having a $1 for your OPS is pretty impressive, even at the college level. So
and he had a 26-game hit streak, which is a Virginia Tech ACC era record. So like consistency, the ability to get on base, the ability to do it day in and day out. Because I've said it before, but I feel like that's the big difference between guys that like they're kind of flashy and you get excited seeing them in a clip. You get excited seeing a highlight reel put together of them. Yet when you look at them on a night in and night out basis, they're not able to do that every single game, right? Like guys that are able to put together 20-plus game hit streaks just show that they're able to do it night in and night out.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's something that's good. Grayson Hitt, come on.
Fucking
Hitt with a double T? Let's go. Give me that jersey already. Grayson Hitt out of University of Alabama, a left-handed pitcher named Hitt.
Roll Tide.
We've talked about this before. We need to change his name with Outman. But of course, he has a pretty good stuff with Alabama, but he did have season-ending Tommy John surgery. So Diamondbacks are banking on him rebounding, and of course, that's that risk, like you said, when you're talking about reaching in the 4th round with the 112th pick. You're trying to get somebody.
These are the kind of risks I like taking, though, because we've mentioned it. I think when talking about Dre, like obviously Tommy John surgery is not a good thing, but Tommy John surgery at this point is at a point where guys are recovering from it, 100%, and having sometimes even better careers afterwards.
It's just different than it was 25 years ago.
I mean, I understand naturally there's going to be concern with some of that causes a guy to drop a little bit in the draft, but again, it's a risk worth taking, I think, when you're getting them at that kind of value.
On day 3, the Diamondbacks took 2 damn near 7-footers that are pitchers. 6'7" Sam Knowlton in the 12th round with pick number 355, and 6'8" Sam Knowlton. 6'7" Matthew Linsky in the 16th round with number 475. So gigantic gentleman. And guys, of course, arms. Arms is the key here. You look at some of their numbers. There's not a lot of things that jump off the page at you. Matthew Linsky, for instance, had a 4.95 ERA as a junior for Rice University. So not great numbers, but again, these are the deep picks that the Diamondbacks start looking at. Not necessarily what their stats look like, but what those peripherals look like and what the power looks like, especially 100%. The power arms really seem to be what the Diamondbacks were focusing on in this draft. And understandably so. It's been a focus of theirs recently. They have a couple of guys, Luis Frias, Carlos Vargas, Justin Martinez. They can all throw over 100 miles per hour, but they all struggle with control when it comes to throwing over 100 miles per hour. So Diamondbacks are just trying to keep up with the rest of the league and have some of those power arms within their organization.
Yeah, I mean, these are two big bodies. Similar to not being able to teach velocity, you can't teach size. Like, and not necessarily that size, it's not basketball, it doesn't necessarily translate to success, but like you when you have guys that are, like you said, that physically have these kind of peripherals, and you have the kind of faith in your system that they appear to have, like it's the hope that you can just kind of round one of these guys into even being an okay major leaguer, because at that point you have, it's a win. Like you did more than I think it can reasonably be expected from a guy being selected day 3.
Here's the thing, though. We're Diamondbacks fans, so the one thing that we always have to hold on to is that in the 8th round of the 2009 MLB Amateur Draft, the Arizona Diamondbacks took Paul Goldschmidt. So you can't tell us shit about late round draft picks. Like, you can't tell us nothing about
they
late
hit
round
sometimes, and somebody's got to be the one to get that player.
Somebody's got to be it.
So why not the D-backs?
I mean, he was drafted originally in the 49th round by who? The Dodgers. Yuck.
Oh my God! What alternate history?
Thank God he went back into college. Thank God he went back to college. But like, speaking of college again, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking a lot of collegiate players in those late rounds. Interesting, especially considering that our very own Corbin Carroll was not a college player, and they seem to have struck gold with him. He had himself quite the weekend. But there's something really interesting that's happening that I can't explain, and that is how quickly Elly De La Cruz is cruising up, if you will, excuse the pun, behind him, right? I mean, this is this happened in a week, folks. This happened in a week
with no baseball.
With Elly De La Cruz not playing baseball and Corbin Carroll participating in the All-Star game. Elly De La Cruz is at plus 275 odds. Corbin Carroll's still your favorite at negative 300, but man, De La Cruz, we talked. I felt like we talked about it back when it was crazy to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like we talked about it after 3 baseball games professionally that Elly De La Cruz played, but we knew this guy was going to be trouble.
Yeah,
and he is going to be trouble for Corbin Carroll's Rookie of the Year chances.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I don't think this really has much to do with Corbin or any kind of disrespect towards Corbin. But
no, none at all.
I think this is more about Elly De La Cruz separating himself from the rest of the pack. And like, these are smart people making these odds. They're fully aware of what Corbin's had going on with his shoulder and stuff like that. And they just know that one injury and all of a sudden they're losing a bunch of money from people that have bet on longer odds with De La Cruz. So, I mean, it's definitely just smart odds making. And again, Corbin Carroll is still minus 300. He's a massive favorite. And
the gap was kind of ridiculous at one point between Corbin Carroll and the pack.
Yeah, like there's still really not any value in betting on Corbin Carroll.
I'd like to point out to our friend Damon behind the Mac, though, that there is no James Outman on that.
Yeah, baby.
James Outman has been neutralized.
Who?
Neutralized.
Who? He's been neutralized. And that's all thanks to Damon.
Eliminated.
I don't like when he uses the word neutralized. That really worries me that I'm going to do
the John Cena Osama bin Laden thing, but with James Outman.
He's been compromised. Oh boy. Well, of course, we love BetMGM, and we're glad to get those odds. BetMGM trying to do everything they can to make this race competitive. And like you said, you're absolutely right when it comes to the odd making. Elly De La Cruz is just an electric player, and it's odd because typically, especially if it's not our guy, I get kind of angry about these guys popping up.
I do. I am angry about Elly De La Cruz.
No, I know, but it's hard. He's like, it's so much fun to watch.
No,
him.
I love him. I
him.
love him. Don't get me wrong. I got nothing against him. It's just I am mad because I want our guy to be like him.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been having this conversation over the last 2 days basically about cool baseball players, right? And the D-backs have plenty of cool baseball players, but they don't have showmen. Like and I know people like to bring up Cattell, but Cattell is a showy baseball player. I don't think he's a showman. Like, he doesn't know where the camera is all the time.
No. There's a difference. Cattell lives in like his own world of enjoyment.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like it's fun to watch.
Plays the game in a fun way.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch.
Yes.
And it's fun to watch his hijinks with the other opposing players and his teammates and everything. But like you said, he's not doing it for the crowd or for the camera.
He's not
doing
coming
it for
out
himself.
to the field, looking at the fans and doing the arm cross like Randy Arozarena. Like, he's not doing that.
Yeah, that's just dope. That's incredible.
And I mean, and also like he's not as dynamic of a player as Elly De La Cruz is. Like, Cattell can't steal home. He can't steal 3 bases in the course of 2 pitches, most likely.
I disagree. I absolutely disagree. Elly De La Cruz caught a man slipping with his glove off and under his armpit. Like, you fucking fell asleep at the wheel with Elly De La Cruz on third.
The stealing home thing, that's I get that that's a little more of an opportunity thing, but still, he's not Elly De La Cruz in that way.
And is that more of a reflection, perhaps? Like, I know that's a reflection of Corbin because we know Corbin. We've talked to him
he's that kind of guy, yeah.
I love Corbin Carroll. I really do. But, like, I feel like since I've been around him so much, I kind of know who he is at his core a little bit. And that is somebody that is humble and doesn't want to show up 100%. His opponent.
Or his teammates. Like, it's not about him.
Right, but it's also a reflection a little bit of Torrey, right? Torrey doesn't want his players playing in that kind of way. Yeah. And it's not to say he's restrictive of that. He's just one of those guys that, like, when he is such a player's manager that it carries over to the players on the other team.
Yeah, I think it's more about, it's not so much that they don't feel like they can't. It's more of a culture that they have created where it's like, it's not about me.
Opponents.
Yeah, it's about the team. Yeah, 100%. And I don't want to make it sound like I think Elly De La Cruz is making it all about him and making it selfish.
No,
like, he's just a naturally kind of fun, flashy player, which is tremendous for the game. I love it. Like, which is why I have grown to. That's why the distaste has grown a little bit, because it's from a place of envy.
Yeah,
I don't want Elly De La Cruz. I'd much rather, from a baseball perspective, have Corbin Carroll. I don't think it's close.
Even when he fucked up and he made a weird play where he fell into the net trying to get a foul ball, it still became like a highlight somehow, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so like I would love to have a guy like that, but just from a personality perspective, from a baseball perspective, I'm still obviously. Corbin's a way better baseball player than anybody else in his rookie class.
You know what I'm going to say, and I hate to say this because I know a lot of people, once again, this is like the Zach Gallen thing I said the other day. I know Diamondbacks fans are going to hate me for saying this, but I'll just say, like, I felt that way when Yasiel Puig really started to, like, become a star for the Dodgers, right? It was the way that, like, they rallied around his attitude and his personality, and it was kind of like Elly De La Cruz, and like all of a sudden it was like this driving force behind the team. And even when his stats weren't great, it was just the fact that he was out there kind of being this fucking weird.
Yeah, and I don't think that this team's just not structured like that. Like, they're the kind of team that's getting energy from everywhere, and it's not one person really driving the engine there. Whereas, I mean, you look at Cincinnati, they were not having a very good season before.
That's the craziest part about it.
And I don't think it's not necessarily because, like you said, it's not because Elly is a world beater and he's just putting up MVP level stats, but it's just the team has played with a different kind of energy, I think, and you now have like kind of a 2-3 in that lineup with McLean, India, and De La Cruz that has become like a legitimate, really like 3-batter section of a MLB lineup.
Well, let's take a look at those odds again really fast, because that's another thing we didn't touch on is there are four Reds on there. Matt McLean, Abbott, we got Steer, and obviously De La Cruz. So like this Reds team is exciting. And
young.
And young, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that's fun that's going on. And you could say the same about the Diamondbacks, but obviously they do not have nearly as many guys on this list. Yeah. Diamondbacks feel, because of that, I mean, I don't know. It feels like the Diamondbacks skipped some steps this year and have kind of moved along farther than they should be, right, as far 100%. As like their progression. But I mean, the future isn't quite as bright as the Reds with having that many stars that are young rookies that have impacted their team.
I mean, I think it's a little skewed because you have a bunch of guys who just lost their rookie eligibility last year, right? So it's not like this team is devoid of super young talent who might be in this conversation. Like, if Geraldo Perdomo's doing this last year, do you see his name somewhere in that probably, maybe not, but still, like,
I don't know though. I mean,
like he's definitely more in that conversation.
Perdomo turned it around from being one of the worst hitters in baseball to being one of the best with runners in scoring position. Like, it's wild the turnaround he had in one season. Right? But you're right. Like, if he was putting up these numbers last year, maybe Perdomo pops off.
Yeah, I mean, he was an all-star as a rookie. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, which is not like Francisco Alvarez wasn't an all-star as a rookie. No, Kodai Senga wasn't an all-star as a rookie, and obviously it's different. They're in the same league, so in different positions though. But I it's definitely like as far as the Reds versus like. I love that. It would be awesome to have kind of just this new rivalry between the D-backs and the Reds, and they meet each other in the playoffs every year because they both got good at the same time. Like that, I think that would be good for baseball.
That's what's fun about this season, to be honest. Yeah. Like so many teams are in it, and so many of the teams that are in it are the young teams.
They're new teams. They're new names you haven't heard.
Tampa Bay Rays, Randy Arozarena just became a fucking star during this All-Star game. I don't know how you couldn't think he was already, but if you didn't know his name and you're a baseball fan, you know his name now. Yeah, and that's something that's a lot of fun, but of course, if you were
a baseball fan, you didn't know his name before. You weren't a baseball fan.
That's very true. Hopefully, you know how to pronounce it now. I still have problems with it.
Rose, rain, That's like when he when they
literally arroz, like rice in Spanish, and then arena, like an arena.
Yeah, when the first playoff run the Tampa Bay went on, they would always tweet out just the letter A, and then a rose emoji, and then another A, and then a rain cloud emoji, and then another
A. Rose, rain. There you go. Well, we hope you guys got down on those Rookie of the Year bets in BetMGM early on Corbin Carroll. Odds aren't great now, but of course you can get down on all sorts of other bets with the BetMGM app. Get in the starting lineup with BetMGM Swing for the Fences game. It's this easy to get involved. Log into your BetMGM Sportsbook app. Play the BetMGM MLB free-to-play game from now until September 7th. You just got to be a batter, pick a area of strike zone, and depending on which area of the strike zone you pick and the hit that you get, you will get a prize associated with that type of hit. You can play once a day, and the prizing must be used on MLB. It does expire in 24 hours, so do not wait. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM app yet, use bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Well, Jesse isn't here. And since Jesse isn't here, we want to use this time wisely. We don't want to waste the fact that me and this guy are unsupervised. So we are here today to talk our first segment about the trade deadline. And we are very excited to talk about who we feel is a big-time trade candidate for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And no, we don't really mean that. But we are here to at least hypothesize if the Arizona Diamondbacks should even take a look at Shohei Ohtani for the trade deadline. But of course, before we do that, we want to thank you guys for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our shows go live. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, please subscribe to us there. Leave us a review. We always appreciate the feedback. Most importantly, if you're in the YouTube channel right now, leave us a thumbs up. That's all we want. We just want as many thumbs up as people here watching. If you haven't signed up for a Diehards membership yet, do so right now. It pays for itself immediately. You will get access to our events. You will get discounts for our events, including our upcoming D-backs takeover event that is happening on July 25th. Diehards get a special discounted price on that. You also get access to our members-only Discord lounge. You get access to Jesse's newsletter, Full Count. You get a free piece of merchandise from the PHNXLocker.com and 20% off all future purchases. Get a gift certificate from Mountain Mike's. You get a ranch card from Dobson Ranch Golf Course and so much more, including discounts from our partners. But like I said, we do have that takeover event that is coming up on July 25th. And of course, if you don't know already, that's going to include a ticket to the game, a pregame meetup with us, the PHNX D-backs crew. And there are going to be a drinks and burger bar at Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers. That's right. We're having a little slider sampler going on at Cold Beer and Cheeseburgers. $48 for diehards, $60 regular price for everybody else. And of course, we also have some pretty good seats. Those are going to be in the outfield underneath that, underneath the home run deck. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the burgers.
Oh yeah, and he's bringing his glove, by the way. So we're
in home run territory. The glove's coming.
Well, welcome to our first discussion of the trade deadline. The trade deadline, of course, is coming up here on August 1st, so it'll be here before we know it. And we know that the Arizona Diamondbacks are obviously in need of some things, right? We've talked about Mike Hazen saying that they were going to be aggressive, talked about obviously needing pitching and specifically starting pitching help, but he also brought up a power bat potentially being added. We know that they are still looking maybe for somebody for a third baseman or something of the sort, but we have the answer today. We have the answer that's going to cover both pitching and a power bat, and that is that the Arizona Diamondbacks should trade for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Are we crazy? Yes, of course we're crazy. Is it realistic? Absolutely not. But we are not here to bring you reason and logic. Jesse is fucking traveling. That's Jesse's job. He's not here today. So we are going to abuse the privilege. Yeah, so we're going to talk about how Shohei is going to help the Arizona Diamondbacks win the World Series. But, I mean, seriously, trading for Shohei Ohtani at what cost, right? No matter what, the cost is going to be absurd for any team that lands in a trade situation. The Angels have already said, I believe Ken Rosenthal said during the All-Star game, that they have no interest in trading Shohei Ohtani and that they intend on keeping him and intend on trying to re-sign him and keep him long-term in Los Angeles. And we mean the good Los Angeles, not the bad place. Right.
Orange County.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts, first of all, on the Angels keeping Ohtani? Do you think they actually have a chance?
I mean, I think they have a chance as the incumbent. I mean, you got to try if you're the Angels. You can't. I mean, this is the best player in the history of the game. I think day by day that becomes less arguable. If it even is at this point, you definitely can't lose him for nothing. But I don't really think you can afford to lose a guy like that at all, especially when you got Mike Trout, who might be the second best player to ever play the game. Like that's absurd.
The biggest question though too is like what point does it become like the trade deadline? Obviously, happens on August 1st. So, like, at what point do you start to feel like maybe you should? You know what I mean? Like, because of course, once you get out of this period of time, like you said, the idea there is that you're going to end up losing him for nothing. So, do you try to extend him before the trade deadline, and then if that doesn't happen, then you trade him? Like, what are you doing as a GM of the Angels?
I mean, that would be ideal, I think. But I mean, I understand. I don't know. There's really, you have to be honest with yourself and really think it. Like, do you really have a real opportunity to sign him?
Right.
Because if you think that there is a less than really good chance of it happening, then I don't think you can afford to take the risk of losing him for nothing.
We have a similar situation here with Zach Gallen.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's like already it's starting to feel like the more accolades and achievements that Zach Gallen obtains, the better his winning percentage goes, the more on a big stage he gets, like the All-Star game, starting in the All-Star game, if he wins a Cy Young, like every single one of those achievements kind of increases the cost that it's going to take to keep him, right? Yeah. So the more that happens, you factor in who his agent is, it feels hard to be realistic and see a future where Zach Gallen re-signs with the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's not because he doesn't want to stay here. It's mostly because of the absurd amount of money someone else is willing to pay him. Ohtani is going to get north of $600 million. That's insane. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Right?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, he's gonna demand a lot of money. So you obviously.
And like that feels immediately like the Diamondbacks are kind of out of contention for keeping him. Outside of this season, right?
I don't think there's, even if they somehow, like, even obviously the trade is somewhat unrealistic, but I don't think there's any chance. I mean, the one thing they have going for them is that they're on the West Coast, kind of, and that clearly seems to be like a priority for them. So I guess they have a better chance than like the Brewers, or like the
everybody
Nationals.
Has a better chance than the Brewers.
Yeah, but like outside of that, yeah. I mean, realistically, if I am an owner of a team, I would spend whatever money. I don't care. I would spend whatever money. I would lose money for Shohei Ohtani.
I mean,
just a baseball fan.
There is something to be said about the pivot that happens to your organization by bringing in essentially the best player currently to play the game.
Yeah, I mean,
when we say that, here's a list of Ohtani's strengths and weaknesses, just so you can get an idea of what kind of guy he is. Strengths, all. Weaknesses, none. That's it.
He's the best baseball player of all time.
He's adorable, and he will also beat you. Like, what worse combination is that? To get your ass beat
smile at you
by somebody that's just going to coyly and cutely smile at you while he's doing it. But let's take a look at his numbers, because realistically, hitting he's one of the best in the league. And I don't mean just the American League. I mean in all of baseball. He's slashing 302, 387 with a 663 slugging percentage. That leads all of Major League Baseball. He also has a 1.050 OPS. That leads all of Major League Baseball. His 182 OPS plus leads all of Major League Baseball, and so does his 226 total bases. When you look at his numbers on the pitching mound, that's where things, I'm not going to knock him and say he's a bad pitcher, right? But he is a little bit more pedestrian or a little bit more of like on the good side and not on the
He
great
wouldn't
side.
be the ace here.
Right. He would not be the ace here. Correct. Yeah. He's 7-4 with a 3.32 ERA, a 4.02 FIP, and he has 11.8 strikeouts per nine. So his strikeouts are still strong.
Yeah.
This season, his walks are way up. His walks right now, he has 43 walks this season. That almost ties his season record of the last 2 years. Last 2 years, he's had 44 walks total for the entire season for both seasons. Sam Brennan in the comments says Zach Gallen knows Shohei's weaknesses. Yeah, he does. Yeah,
so then come here, then no one will know your weakness.
That's right. Yeah, that's another reason for him to come here. But I think really in the end, and looking at those numbers, the big question is he worth it? And when I say is he worth it for you to trade for a half a season of Ohtani? Okay.
Just because then I can have a Shohei Ohtani D-backs jersey. Anything is worth that.
Shit, I didn't think about that.
I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah, man. He turns this team into a World Series contender. He's the best player in baseball. It fills two massive needs at once. You get a right-handed power man. Is he righty? Why am I blanking on?
I believe so. But,
right? Yeah.
Sorry, I have it up right here. Bat's left, actually.
Okay, never mind. But regardless, you're getting a power bat and a legitimate second/third pitcher. Yeah, like if you were trying to win a World Series this year, then yes,
it solves all of your problems.
Yeah, like if you're trying to win a World Series this year, then you do it 100%. I don't think there is. And again, it's Shohei Ohtani, man. Like I don't think there is a cost.
What are you willing to give up for him? Obviously,
what am I not willing to give up for him? I think is a much shorter list.
Yeah, right. Okay, what are you not? Like obviously,
Corbin Carroll, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, those guys are all off the table. That's it. That's it.
That's it. Ketel Marte, Christian Walker. That's it.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably Gabby too, because I don't want to be in the hellscape that is Carson Kelly and
it's
Herrera as our catchers. But
who's your core, right? And your core seems to be maybe Perdomo.
Yeah, I don't want to touch the outfielders. But even Perdomo, like there's other shortstops in the system where like if you're actually, no, because if you're trying to win a World Series this year,
you need Perdomo.
You're not doing that with
you need him
with Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Yeah, no, unless you call up Blaze and he's good, which that's too big of a risk I think to take unless you do that before you make the trade.
Are you more willing to part with guys on the major league roster? Are you willing to part with prospects like Blaze?
I mean, I think you're going to have
Jordan Lawler.
I think you're going to have to part with prospects. So I don't think. I mean, are
you risking your future for a half a season of Ohtani?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I think you have a very.
This is what happens when Jesse's not here. We go insane, and yes, we'll trade everything.
I think you have a very good chance of being a very good of being a World Series team.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's people in the chat saying like Drew Jones. I don't know where his value. Like I just don't know. I don't know how the GMs value the D-backs prospects. But like, yeah, I agree. There's a clear logjam in the outfield and at shortstop. I am fine with losing prospects there. The outfield, I don't want to lose major league talent because I think this is their preferred outfield. Like, you're obviously Corbin is not even a part of the conversation. Alex Glove is too good. Jake is probably the one I could live with the most if they were to get rid of him, but I don't want that either. Like, this is the outfield I want.
I mean, you look at Dalton Varsho, and we talked about that trade, right? We didn't want to get rid of Dalton Varsho, but now it's hard to say that the trade did not work out extremely well for the Diamondbacks. And even if Varsh goes out and tears, even if he goes out and fucking absolutely raked for Toronto, we still got a quality catcher behind the plate, and we got an all-star in Lourdes Gurriel.
And I mean, we're just talking position players. There's not a pitcher I'm not willing to give up, I don't think, in the entire system.
So Brandon Pfaadt, the whole everybody.
I think I'd give up Dan. Because, I mean, at this point, I don't have very much reason to believe that Pfaadt is going to end up being a good major league pitcher. Like we don't have any evidence to suggest that.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like it's mostly about like what you're going to do at a major league level, and of course you know, you could say what you will about St. Louis Cardinals trading away both Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen, right? But at the time, you know, of course, what they were trying to do was win a championship, right? And see, that's where I feel like we start to get into a very difficult position with this kind of trade. And it's not just this trade, but it's going to be any trade for a top tier talent, even someone that brings much less to a team than Shohei Ohtani does. Because like we said, Shohei Ohtani just checks all the boxes for what the Diamondbacks need at this point, right? But when you talk about, you know, the other trades are going to cost a lot. And it's indicative of the situation that the Diamondbacks are in and Mike Hazen is in, where this team got better or good faster than they thought they were going to be. So now here they are in a position where this year, I'm not going to say that they were going to coast. Obviously, you're going to kind of adapt and do what you're going to do based on how the season goes. Yeah. But they probably weren't planning on having this kind of major decision to make in regards to a trade that's going to potentially push them over the edge and make them a World Series contender.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's important to bring up in this conversation is because we're talking about Shohei as a rental. Damn near anyone you get is going to be a rental. That's why they're getting moved at the trade deadline. Like, that's kind of how this works. We talk about whether it's Stroman or any, like, most of them don't have term on their contract. That's why you're going to be able to get them at the deadline. So, like, as far as the rental thing is concerned, Shohei is you're renting a fucking Lamborghini. Like, it's the best rental you're gonna get. And I mean, and I don't think you can really move like this. But Benjamin makes, I think, an interesting point that the Dodgers are obviously a part of the conversation to get him next year. If you have an opportunity to get him and win a World Series before they get him, it'd be pretty nice. Like, it would make it a lot easier to swallow seeing him in a D-backs jersey if you win a World Series with him first. Yeah. I mean,
and Gurriel is a rental. Yeah, you're right about that. But I feel like Gurriel's was kind of not a throw-in for
Ohtani.
Yeah, he wasn't the focus of that trade as much as Gabriel Moreno was. But you're right. And I mean, now they have that decision to make as far as Gurriel goes, because I'm sure maybe he wasn't a high priority to re-sign, but after the way he's played this year, maybe he is, right? I will say that the Seattle fans chanting "Come to Seattle" during the All-Star game, that was a nice try.
It was awesome.
We appreciate that.
He's been on record saying how much he likes to spend summers there, or I guess winters there, off seasons there.
He said, every time I come here, the fans are passionate. I've actually spent a couple of off seasons in Seattle. I like the city. It's good. Man.
Seattle is not a city that I'm like, where am I? I am a millionaire. I'm going to spend my summer somewhere. Like, I don't immediately think Seattle. So he likes Seattle, man.
Pacific Northwest is incredible. I enjoyed my time there.
I was looking at flights last night, just looking at shots of the stadium in Seattle.
Yeah, he was like, well, I was talking to him about Pike's Place and all that.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
We're going. But of course, as far-fetched as this is, the Diamondbacks are going to have some decisions to make when it comes to who they go after when it comes to the trade deadline. Trade deadline here is approaching very quickly. We have 18 days essentially until the trade deadline hits after today. So, like you said, I think the best thing is this is crazy, right? We're almost doing this as a joke because it's just kind of become a topic this week as far as the Diamondbacks connecting to Shohei Ohtani. But if you're going to go out there and mortgage your future on a player,
do it on Shohei.
Mortgage it on the best possible player that you can find, I guess. 100%. I mean, that's the reason. And if you're going to make maybe more than one trade to bring in a power bat and a pitcher, maybe consider how much you're giving up to the Angels in regards for just a half a season of Shohei Ohtani. But we'll keep you posted on this, obviously fictitious trade that won't go through, and some more realistic ones once Jesse comes back. So make sure to keep it locked right here to PHNX. Make sure also to check out your local Circle K for the best coffee, beer, and snack selection and premium gas, because me and this guy, we're on their little tiny gas pump. So don't miss out on the wonderful in-gas entertainment that you get, as well as all of the wonderful drinks. Their Polar Pops, we can confirm, they do stay cold longer. And of course, don't sleep on the Circle K snacks. I'm telling you, you're going to save money. You're going to get better quality. Circle K. It's the best place for you to stop on your road trips or just on your way home when you need a pick-me-up. They got iced coffees for $1.89, 12 packs of beers for just $9.99, and of course, Red Bulls and Monsters. Red Bulls 3 for $8, Monsters 3 for $6. Make sure you're not missing out on all this great stuff. Right now, text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to CircleK.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. And while you're there, make sure to pick up the official craft beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks. That is Four Peaks. They have their Rattle On Red Hot Ale and their full variety of beers for you to check out. So make sure to check them out. If you're at Chase Field, check out their Four Peaks Draft Room. And of course, make sure to follow everything they got going on over at Four Peaks Brew, or go to their events calendar at fourpeaks.com/events to stay up to date. They still have their Teachers Tuesdays in honor of wonderful teachers out there. We thank you for all that you do. And of course, you can get down every Tuesday at the 8th Street Pub through July. You bring a valid ID and receive $4 pints of Kilt Lifter, Wow, Hazy, and Hop Knot. So make sure to check out the 8th Street Pub. Don't sleep on the chicken tendies. If you haven't tried them yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go out there right now. Check out at Four Peaks Brew at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest. Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. Please drink responsibly. Did you play the Immaculate Grid today? Have you played the Immaculate Grid? Did you see the Arizona Diamondbacks on there, baby? That is right.
Yeah,
the Arizona Diamondbacks on there. We were having some fun with that one here in the office. And we have some big news when it comes to the Immaculate Grid. If you have not heard, Sports Reference LLC, which owns one of our favorite websites, baseballreference.com, and all of the sports reference sites, has purchased the Immaculate Grid game.
Yes.
Let's fucking go, right?
And it was immediately made better.
It was immediately made better. Normally, I don't like stuff like this. I won't lie. I don't. And I say that just because, like, things like this are cool kind of because of the nature of who made it and who's
kind of came out of
operating
nowhere,
it. Yeah. Like, I don't hate New York Times owning Wordle. But like,
it didn't change a whole lot, but
but it still made me kind of lose interest in it. And then they had a show called Lingo that was basically Wordle as a game show, and my interest diminished. I don't want to see an Immaculate Grid game show, but I do like Baseball Reference now being in charge of it, because this just is electric, and I feel like you put it in the hands of the people that should be controlling it. Besides, when most of us cheat, we're going to Baseball Reference. Anyway, right? I mean, we're cheating on Baseball Reference. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it made it better instantly, because originally when you did it, it would only show you the most popular answer for any given question. And now, because it's Baseball Reference, it gives you can click a link and it'll give you a link of every answer, a list of every answer that
that part's
it's fun
awesome.
for like if you're a baseball fan that loves baseball history and stats and like random facts like that. Like,
I'm incredibly good at this game.
I am okay at it.
And I don't, and the only reason why, because I'm not smart and I'm not good at trivia games. I'm not any of these things, right? But one thing I've realized is that my years and years of reading the back of baseball cards is finally paying off, because that information is retained up here somehow. I don't remember my kid's birthday some year, but I remember fucking what Rod Carew hit. That's for sure. So, I mean, these are things that I still can't believe, but they'll also be bringing the game to other sports. Is that not, like, you talked about that improvement is great, but the fact that now we're going to get this for football and basketball and everything, that is going to be
awesome. a very fun. Because I love this kind of stuff. I love these grids. I love all of these kinds of just knowing old athletes. Like, it's just fun to me.
The conversations that start happening in our office because of the Immaculate Grid with Damon.
All of a sudden, I'm talking about gifting Gope.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
That's just guys being dudes, though, right?
Guys being dudes.
Naming athletes.
Yeah. This guys being dudes.
Nick Swisher.
Jose Abreu. Got that one yesterday.
Dude, Jose Abreu. Fun fact.
That was a fun fact.
Nolan Ryan has never won a Cy Young.
Fun fact.
That's unbelievable to me.
I capped off my Immaculate Grid with Juan Pierre. I loved Juan Pierre. I loved Juan Pierre.
All right. Well, of course, we don't have a game to play, but we do want to give something away, and we want to give something to you guys. So we talked about it. Here is our Father's Day shirt. We're going to be giving this away on tomorrow's episode. So if you are interested in winning this wonderful shirt, make sure to stop by tomorrow's episode, put some stuff in the chat, and of course, Bootsy says Lingo was before Wordle? Really? Is that right? I don't believe you. I'm going to have to double check that, but you might be right.
I haven't been a game show guy for a while.
But yeah, just show up in the chat tomorrow. We're just going to pick a name. So just show up, give us a little thumbs up in the chat tomorrow, and we are going to pick someone to win that Father's Day shirt. If you didn't get a chance to get one, best of luck to you. Hopefully you get a chance to win that tomorrow. So make sure to stop by. It is our last Jesse-less show before he returns on Friday, and then we will have our post-game. I mean, we were talking about baseball being gone for too long. We got 2 lousy days without baseball, and we were complaining about it. But baseball will be back on Friday. The Diamondbacks will be in Toronto facing the Blue Jays, and we will be back with our post-game show that day. But, of course, join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. We will have some more information about all sorts of fun stuff, and maybe, I don't know, well, maybe me and this guy will play a game that we can't play when Jesse's here, just to enjoy our one last day without him. But of course, we will be doing it with our Shady Rays on. And Shady Rays is something that everybody in the Valley should have because they are premium polarized shade. They are built to last. And of course, they have an insane protection plan that no glasses, no eyewear company should offer a protection plan like this. Like no phone company should offer a protection plan for free that you break your phone, because we break our phones all the time. And no company should offer a protection plan that covers you losing your sunglasses, because we lose our sunglasses all the time, all the time. But every pair of sunglasses by Shady Rays is backed by a lost and broken replacement plan. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. They have your back long after purchase. And not only do they have your back, but they have the community's back. For building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS, the outdoor adventure of a lifetime, Shady Rays is making an impact in the community, and others like it now for years to come. So if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them. They don't keep you from doing that, whether you buy them online or in person. And you can return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people, and get yourself some sunglasses. You need good sunglasses now. Also, it's golf season, and you need some good light shirts, light polo shirts. You got to look nice out there on the greens, but of course you also want to make sure you're comfortable in this hot Arizona sun. Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of PHNX and ALLCITY, and they have an incredible array of stretchy, lightweight polo shirts that are, like, I'm a patterns guy. They have some fun patterns. They have amazing polo shirts. They have hats, golf bags, beer sleeves, everything you need to be out on the links this summer. It's a family-owned golf and apparel business. And of course, we love our Pins and Aces gear. So check out pinsandaces.com and use code PHNX to receive 15% off your first order. You'll also get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. Well, that's all we got today. We thank you guys for joining us, and even in our crazy thought process about trying to, trade for Shohei. But who knows? Crazier things have happened. You can follow us on Twitter if you like crazy and you want some more of it. I'm at Cap_caveman with a K. This guy's at Sean_DePause. Damon, we are Damon's dogs. But of course, Damon is at Damon Dog. That's DAWG at the end. Our show is at PHNX D-backs, but all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when Shohei Ohtani is on your baseball team.